welcome to another edition of Overcoming Illness. I'm Paula Denoncourt, your host, founder and CEO of Enrich Your Health. I'm a holistic health consultant. I've been doing my business since about 2010. I help my clients stop living a life of suffering and pain needlessly. I myself suffered from multiple food allergies, so I had to find different recipes and things on my own that I could actually eat to stay alive. So I developed digital recipe books and ebooks. So if that's something you think you need recipes, please go over to the website and check that out. And I have a free gift there as well, Reversing Illness. And also a 6-day immunity meal plan guide. So if you're listening, that's at enrichyourhealth.com, ENRICHURHEALTH.com. If you're seeing me for the first time, I highly suggest you go back and watch some of the replays. Our guests last week were phenomenal. We talked about some biblical principles and the root of all of our illnesses. Oh my goodness, I was blown away. So please go back and watch those replays. Please give Elevation TV Network some love. Go over to the YouTube channel, like it, subscribe, and watch some of their other videos. There are some amazing people that are on this platform, so you definitely don't want to miss out on that. So with that, that's enough about me. The only other thing I do want to say is I am looking for guests for the show. So if you're overcoming an illness, if you've been through an illness, maybe your spouse, maybe your parent, maybe you're maybe an apostle, a pastor, doctor, nurse, whatever it might be, you know people that have dealt with illness and you have something to share, a story to share. We need your stories. People out there need your stories. They're waiting for your stories. So please reach out to me, either Facebook Messenger, Instagram Messenger, or you can text me on my phone, 508-330-9665 if you're only listening, or you can just get it on the website. Text me and we can set up a time to talk that way. So with that, I am really, really excited for our guest tonight, Deonté Bolden. He's founder of Deonté Bolden Productions. That's a mouthful. So with that, I would like to thank Deonté for being here tonight, and I'm really excited to hear all about what he's doing in film, how he's turned his pain into purpose with children with disabilities, his own life experiences, family experiences, and all of that with illness or even just disabilities. I don't even like to really call that an illness, but it's a challenge. We'll put it that way. So Deonté Bolden is an award-winning Atlanta-based author, filmmaker, host, and playwright. Through his production company, Deonté Bolden Productions, the Washington, D.C. native made his directing and playwriting debut with the premiere of the stage play Looking for Love in All the Wrong Places. The inaugural work was well received by the Atlanta community and inspired audiences during the 2 sold-out performances, which that's amazing in itself. It was sold out. Let's see. He is the author of 2 publications, Purpose Pains, which won the Peach Theater Literary Award in 2020, and a children's book, Differently Abled, which is an empowerment book about 4 children with disabilities who go on a journey of developing self-love, acceptance, and confidence. The empowering story recently landed him an interview on Atlanta's 11 Alive News and Atlanta Live on WATC TV 57 in Atlanta, which that's awesome. Deonté is currently developing a series of works built around his life experiences that will inspire many generations. So I am so excited for Deonté to be here tonight and to share all of this with us and what he's working on. So welcome, Deonté. Thank you for being here tonight.
Hey, thank you for having me. Can you hear me good?
I can, yes.
Good. Thank you. I appreciate that. And thank you for that amazing introduction.
Oh, well, you don't get an amazing introduction if it's not something you haven't done, right? Definitely. And for those of you listening out there, I would love for you to go back and watch some other replays. I've had some people that have talked about some disabilities. We've had a person on that had autism. We had a person that was on that had she's deaf, or she likes to refer to herself as the deaf queen boss, and she's hard of hearing. She's done some amazing things and is continuing to. So please watch those replays. So Deonté, before we even get into all the questions, tell us a little bit about yourself. Where are you originally from? Where you grew up? Family? Do you have brothers, sisters, married, single? Just give us a little bit of background, how you grew up, and then we'll go into some of the questions.
Yeah, so Deonté Bolden. I was born in Washington, D.C., District of Columbia.
Mm-hmm.
My mom and dad divorced when I was 4 years old. Um,
Mm.
yeah, and I had an older brother. He had special needs. He had muscular dystrophy, which is a disease that weakens the muscles and the immune system. Uh, I was raised in Virginia, so I kind of moved all around. We were in Southern Virginia, like the Chesapeake, Tidewater region area. And then I eventually we moved because my mom needed more help and assistance with my brother and needed to be around family. So we moved towards like the DC area, DMV, DC, Maryland, and Virginia area, Stafford, Virginia. So it's kind of all in that little area. And yeah, after graduating high school and kind of experiencing college a little bit, I realized that, my goal and ambition was to always pursue the arts. Ever since I was young, there was a camera, there was opportunity to shine and perform. I was there, some of my embarrassing old videos would show me just wanting to be in the camera, wanting to be seen. So I
Yeah.
decided to pursue that after I lost my brother in 2006. He's, due to complications of muscular dystrophy,
Mm.
experiencing, a lot of depression and, suicidal thoughts. It really helped me to push and realize that I needed to be in a place where, you know, a different region, and sometimes you need a new experience. And I moved to Los Angeles, started getting into acting there, was heavily involved in theater. And then I caught the writing bug while I was there and decided that I really wanted to take writing to a different level, start writing scripts. So that led me back to this area of Atlanta because I had a business deal. It kind of fell through, but I feel like I'm here for a reason. And that's kind of like the overall general of my little, my life experiences.
Mm.
My dad and we never been close. But we recently, after COVID and losing a lot of different people, it brought our relationship a little bit closer because we're able to really have conversations now. And if COVID didn't show us anything, it taught us that, life is short and people can be here
Yeah.
today and gone today. So forgiveness has been a big thing for me when it comes to my father and my relationship, forgiving and learning how to love and move past that brokenness and that pain. So
Mm.
yeah,
Well, first of all, I'm sorry about your brother.
thank
Did
you.
anyone else in the family have any muscular dystrophy or any signs of that? Or was it just him?
As far as I know in the family, it was just him.
Wow.
Which side of the family it came from, I heard different things. My mom said that she believes it was more from my dad's side, but
Mm.
I'm not really that sure. So,
Yeah.
mhm.
I remember growing up, the Jerry Lee Lewis telethons and everything, watching those people. It was just, yeah, I never thought in a million years, like, I'm a Lyme disease advocate, which, like, things like MS, multiple sclerosis, which is different than
Mhm.
muscular dystrophy. They're different. But all these different illnesses, I never thought in a million years that I'd be an advocate for something like that. But when I see how people are treated and how all their issues and they can't get well and it gets thrown under the rug, it just breaks my heart. So I can only imagine how hard that was for you to have to live it every day with your
Yeah, and
brother.
I think it really helped to me to become more of an advocate and me to have more compassion for children with special needs. I was never the type of kid that would bully other kids in school because they were different.
Mm.
I was the one who was trying to be friends with the kid, who was different, because I knew the struggle, I knew the cries, my
Yeah.
whole experience coming home and kids would tease him. So it really just made me a better person. Sometimes we look at things as disadvantages, and for a long time I didn't understand that I was, not one of God's favorite because I had a brother with special needs. But I realized that I was, in this position of being special and favored by God, because it
Yeah.
really helped keep me grounded, and it really helped with my maturity level, So
It's funny you should say that you didn't bully. I was like kind of like that too. I was the one that got bullied.
mm-hmm.
I
Yeah.
got bullied, and I've talked about it on other shows, but I did the same thing. I was in special education classes in elementary school, so I would always friend other people that were, they were special needs. They were more special needs than I was. I mean, there was one girl. I remember I was one of the first ones. I was going on to college, and that girl was still in elementary. I forget what she was in, either still high school or elementary school, middle school, maybe. She wasn't developing, you know what I mean? She was kind of staying where she was. But I would friend those type of people. I always did.
Yeah,
Because, yeah, yeah, because I wasn't, I wasn't far from it. I mean, I was a little bit more, I don't like to use the word normal, but my cognitive abilities were a little better than some of the other ones, some of them, but yeah, I was never the bullier. I was always the one to make friends. So I get it. So
yeah.
tell us, yeah. So you told us a little bit about it already, but tell us a little more. What's the inspiration behind your writing and creativity?
Yeah, well, I went into the arts just wanting to act. Ever since I was young, I used to beg my mom all the time, "Mom, I want to act. I want to do this and I want to do that." But after losing my brother, I suffered from depression, and kind of secluded myself, and really went through a great deal of just trying to figure out ways of coping with that. And after suffering from mental health, and really being silent about my emotions and trying to act like everything is fine, and going through a period of contemplating suicide and different things, writing has always been kind of a part of me, because I used to write poetry when I was young. But
Oh wow.
I journaling my emotions and writing things down in secret places and holding on to them and wanting to put them together. And finally, just one day I was on a set working with a friend, and I was telling him about some of my ideas that I had. And he was like, "You really need to write, you really, God is going to use you in the writing aspect." And I was like, "What?" And I was like, "I don't know how to write a script. I don't know, these ideas, like, who, me?" And he was like, "Yeah, sadly, we're not friends anymore, because I'm like, when God does give me these millions, it'll be nice to share it with him." Yeah, even with that situation, it really helped to birth the writer in me. And I remember just writing my first series that I'm still working on getting, into production,
Mm-hmm.
called The Price of Fame, which really talks about the dark side of the industry. I remember sitting down. That was the first script I ever wrote in my life, and I wrote 10 seasons in 1 week,
Oh my
because
god.
the ideas just kept coming. And then next thing you know, another film was coming. And I'm literally that type of person. If I sit in the house too long, or if I sit in a place or I watch a movie, I immediately have like ideas running through my head. I actually been watching Lifetime movies with my mom, and I actually got 2 ideas this week. I was like,
Wow. Oh my goodness.
it just flows, and I just truly know that it's a gift that I have to write.
Mm. Yeah. Well, you're the light in that dark entertainment industry.
Yeah, and writing gives you a voice. I feel like, to me, it's part of sharing your voice, your thoughts, your ideas with the world. And I realized that's part of my purpose, to be able to write, to be able to create and inspire other people through my creativity. And just hearing people and doing plays, looking for love in all around places. So many people come up to you after and be like, "Wow, I realized I need to truly learn how to love myself, instead of trying to find Mr. or Mrs. Right. I got to do more internal
Mm.
work." So it really just brings a new perception to people and new ideas, and really change the world.
Absolutely. And you never know, I've always said you never know who needs that story, who needs to hear it. You
Right.
know, I actually answer phones for grocery stores on this as my full-time job. And I was talking to a woman one day and I'm like, you need to write a book. She's like, no, 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 I'm not going to write a book. And I'm like, but it's not about you. People need your story. Like, she went through all this stuff. I forgot what it was. I don't know. Brain tumor and this and that, all these different things. And I'm like, write a book. People need your story. She's like, no, I'm not going to write a book. I said, and here's the thing. If anybody's listening, and you know this probably, Deonté, it's so much easier today to write a book. You can literally just record it and have somebody put it on a Word document or whatever you want to put it on. Or there's apps. You just put it on an app and it like transcribes everything. And all you need is just the last few pieces, like your book cover, you know what I mean? It's so much easier now to get a book out. Like my first book is an anthology. It's not, it's not the book isn't all me, but it's my first book. It's with 9 other women. That's the book that's back there. And if you can see it, but God, I'm still here. Um, so there's, for anybody listening, if you've been ill or something like that, reach out to me because we can get your story out there. Deonté could help you, whoever, whatever it takes. So I just wanted to add that. So you started writing like since you were a kid and all of that. How did you get into playwriting from there?
Playwriting was something I ran from for a long period of time. When I first started writing, it was just like I'm gonna just do TV and film. Um, and I was scared of rejection, and a lot of people would tell me even through church, Deonté, you're going to be a playwright, and I'm like, no, don't put that on me. I felt like that I wasn't worthy enough to fill seats, to play. I was like, who's going to come to see me? My name is not there. But honestly, every show since I started playwriting, I've sold out the venue, and it's been an amazing experience. So playwriting to me was just the fact of realizing that play is so, theater is so raw and authentic. The emotions that you feel, the journey that you go on with your audience as they experience your piece, and your audience don't lie. And I'm now even in the Bolden Academy teaching the youth. On yesterday, I was like, before you even get into filmmaking, get into the playwriting aspect of it, because that's the raw emotion. It's going to give you a lot of feedback, what you should change, what punchlines didn't work, and things like that. And theater has just always been a love of mine. And I think it became even more of a love of mine than acting, because everybody wants to get in front of a camera, but nobody wants to get on the stage. And the stage is where you really get your training, and training not just for actors, but training for writers as well, because we're going to give you that raw, feedback by just how your audience responds to your piece, your scenes and your story itself. And I always tell people, try to write a play first, because that's going to give you that. So playwriting has just been a beauty of mine, and I'm now working on a film, that I'm now working on taking a film that I wrote called When Pride Comes Before the Fall, and actually making that my next play that's going to be coming up soon. So I'm just enjoying the process.
What's the name of it?
It's called When Pride Comes Before the Fall.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah. So that's going to be my second play that I'm looking at possibly doing later this year after the award show, and
Okay. Wow. Yeah, I was actually in drama club back in high school. I was in Fiddler on the Roof and By Birdie. I loved it. I had so much fun doing that. Yeah. I was always afraid to be like, how some people want to be the star? Oh no, I didn't want to be the star. I wanted to be in the background. I wanted to be in the chorus. I'll never forget. I can't remember what happened, but we had to like come to the front of the stage, and I was like, no, I don't want to go to the front of the stage. I want to be in the background. But that was so much fun. Bye Bye Birdie was a blast. We had so much fun.
It's one of the most beautiful things I can describe. When I first got onto the stage, and I was acted in my first play. It was the best experience ever. Theater, it's something I always recommend to actors
Mm,
and even
yeah.
writers. Great training, and it really prepares you for the filmmaking process because you learn so much,
Mm,
and how to formulate your writing, and it's two different worlds, but they connect in a way of
mm-hmm.
playwriting preparing you for filmmaking.
Right. Wow.
I love it.
So, what's the inspiration behind the Bolden Awards? Tell us about the Bolden Awards.
Yeah, so because I'm into the playwriting world and I am into the filmmaking and the arts, one of the things that I wanted to do, I always said that I would do, was start my own award show. And it's because I was nominated for so many different awards. I won an award, my Peach Theater Award, for the literary award for my first book, Purpose Pains. But I realized there was something missing, a missing puzzle piece to a lot of these award shows, because everybody wanted to highlight the success. Everybody come in dressed in their best gowns, and everybody just thought they were better than each other. But I kept complaining for years after going to this one award show, and I was just like, this is ridiculous. The same person gets awarded every year. What about the people who've been overlooked? What about the people who are working out here diligently and not getting the recognition that they need? And I love my connection to God, because I just felt God was like, stop complaining about it and just do it. That's why I
Ooh,
gotta do
wow.
it. Because a lot of times we complain about what we see, but we don't realize that we're the change to what needs to be changed. I love, Maya Angelou, if you don't like something, change it. If not, don't complain about it, right? So I remember just going to sleep one night, and literally in my dream, it was the Bolden Awards, and where boldness meets greatness. And I got up that morning, and I was like, oh, let me write that down. And then that day, categories just started coming to me, for the award show. And the significance of this award show is really highlighting and awarding those who've overcome obstacles and adversities while achieving excellence. We really want to attach to not just the success, but the struggle story behind the success that connects to the success, because boldness part is, what you've overcome and how you've, overcome it. And then the greatness comes along with the success. So we have 16 amazing award categories, and each award
Wow.
recipient has an empowering story of what they've overcome, and we just want to celebrate those people who've been overlooked, our special needs communities, those who have been victims of abuse, those who have been incarcerated and now they're redeemed. We just really want to celebrate the special needs community. So many people are tied into this amazing awards show that's going to be going down May the 20th of 2023.
So, give us some stories. Give us some testimonials about some people. Like, what really sticks out? Any stories?
Yes. Yeah, so we're centering in on our honorees. So one of our honorees who's getting the Impact Award, Brandon French, he, has been homeless. He really has out been pursuing his dreams, and have went through a lot in his life. Was in a relationship, with someone, and thought he had a baby, and realized that in that situation that was not his baby. But he, even in the midst of pursuing his dreams, going to Florida, highlighting other people's businesses, he was living in his car. And now he's, pushing forward and working a job, and really just amazing with graphics, and just a mind genius, of what he's done. And he's amazing. He's going to be awarded for that. We also have a girl named Emily for a Shine On Award, which is highlighting individuals who are under the age of 21 and under who are making a difference. She has autism, and she is amazing. And her story is, the doctor said that she wasn't supposed to speak, and she wasn't supposed to write or talk, but she is now, an advocate and speaking on social media, about autism and her autism journey. She's about to go off to college in pursuit of a degree, and she is just amazing at what she does. She's an entrepreneur, a business owner, and we're highlighting her at the award show as well. So we just have some amazing individuals, those who have
Wow.
one individual has overcome leukemia. Just everybody who's been attached to this award is amazing. So I'm just excited and can't wait to see it all come together on May 20th.
Wow. Now, is that going to be broadcast or is it only live? Like, is it only in person?
Everybody's been asking that. It's because it's the first awards show. I didn't put so much pressure on myself to say I got to get, it broadcast because of, financial things. We're still going
Yeah.
to work with it, but it is going to be definitely in person at the Doubletree Hilton Hotel here in Atlanta, Georgia.
Wow. Well, you'll have to do something to videotape some of it. I don't know
Yeah,
what, but
we are going to have crew. We're going to have a videotape testimonials, people who are part of
yeah, because
it.
you're gonna need to get some of that footage. You need
Absolutely.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because you're gonna, even if you want to just look back on it at some point, you know what I mean? Just to have that inspiration and just watch it, and you want that. You need that more than live.
Yeah, the first one, so definitely want to make sure
Mm.
you get to
Well,
be.
I'm excited for you. That's amazing.
Thank you so much.
I
Yeah.
just love how you. So going back to what you were saying, like, just create it. I went to Believe Big Again conference a couple of years ago with Dr. Felix Anderson. I don't know if you've heard of him.
Mm.
And one of the things that was said at this conference that I'd never forgotten, instead of, we feel this like spirit of rejection and like, why am I never invited to the table? And you've been talking about it, on there's this app for you guys listening called Owl, and you can make phone calls to professional people, or you can be on there and get phone calls. So we were just talking about that, like, we have to learn to create our own tables, stop waiting around, and if you're not being invited to the table, it's because you're meant to create your own table, I guess is what I want to say. I've never forgotten that when I heard that at that conference. So wait, you were just saying same idea, create it. We're
Yeah,
meant to create it.
it's
Yeah.
so important because for so many years people are just waiting for someone to give them a seat at their table. When you're just meant to build your own table, there's something you
Yeah.
need. And I believe that God strategically does that because a lot of times we're trying to fit in. I know that I'm talented. People overlooking me. People still are overlooking me. But I realized that God is helping me to build my table because God wants to get us to a place where He can truly bless us and shine
Yeah.
through us. And the only time He can do that sometimes is when He separates us from certain people, individuals, and
Oh
allows us
yeah.
to do our own thing. So He can shine through the Bolden Awards and Deonté Bolden Productions, and which He has been showing up and showing out. And I think so many times we're crying and getting upset because we want to be at someone else's table, but we're not meant sometimes to eat at everybody's table. Sometimes it's meant
No.
to
Yes.
build and create our own. So yeah.
Yeah. I love that. We're not meant to eat at everybody else's table.
Right, because you could get food poisoning sometimes, but that's another
Right.
that's another podcast
I
interview.
know. No, but it's so true. Like, it's just, we get caught up in always trying to, be like everyone else, I guess you could say. The comparative, I can't say it, but you know what I mean. Comparing yourself to everybody else, and why don't I get invited? But you have these business ideas or whatever. Create your own. Get it going yourself. There's nothing stopping you, whether you have a slight disability, a slight illness. One of the things I've learned with people with illness, oh my goodness, some of them are so talented. And
Mm,
maybe that talent comes out because they have more time. I don't know. But they are so creative. Like, they have so much talent, because a lot of times, in the world of having an illness, guess what happens? You get very financially you're struggling financially, so they look into other things to make a dollar, and they're so creative. The things that they make and create is just incredible to me.
yeah, and I
So
find that sometimes too, being in a space when you're different from everybody else, you have the opportunity. Like, one of my award recipients, she had so much time because people isolated themselves from her. Sometimes she had to isolate herself from certain people because people didn't treat her right, and you have so much time to spend with yourself that you have no choice but to be creative and find different ways of
yeah,
tapping into your creativity. So.
yeah, definitely. And that's another thing, you just brought up a good point, and this is something I've learned too. surround yourself with the people that either are going to support you, surround yourself with people that are more positive, that are more outgoing. I mean, I remember being in a business group back in Massachusetts, and I love these people, don't get me wrong, but the group was stagnant, and I felt it. Like all they kept doing was supporting each other in the group, but there was no like outside referrals, hardly any, except for, the obvious ones, like, if somebody's buying a house, well, you need a mortgage, the obvious stuff. But other than that, like, nobody was really, they was stagnant. It wasn't growing. And I felt that. So it was like, okay, I need to be around people that are growing, that are moving. And that's why I
Yeah.
wanted to move to another area, because, and it's growing like crazy in North Carolina. And you know what I mean? What a difference. So you have to do that. You have to go where it helps you to grow if you're around people that are growing and want to keep moving. You know what I mean? It helps you. It
Yeah.
helps you keep,
I
yeah.
was, I was talking to a friend of mine today about it because he was talking about he was getting so frustrated with his circle because people will look at him as weird in the circle or different. And I was like, sometimes you just have to grow, and part of growing is growing your circle. I'm now at a place in my life because I'm doing so many great things that I want to be around people who are going to motivate me, inspire me to go more and push harder and push forward. And sometimes we'll have people in our circles that are not trying to do anything, or they don't want to see you pursue your dreams because they're not pursuing theirs. And the conversation is different when you're really on a growth level and
Yeah.
you're growing with different people. So you're so right about that. As you grow, your circle should grow and develop as well, and not grow in a way where it means you have to have a whole bunch of people, because sometimes your circle gets smaller. But
Right.
the quality of people that you're dealing with, it should be a growth mindset.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you want to make $1 million, then go find people that are making $1 million. Be
Correct.
around people. It makes a huge difference. Like I said, I have nothing against the people that are in my business group. I still love them. They're still on some of them on my Facebook, and they're great people. But
Mm-hmm.
the group itself, at one time, it was amazing. They were winning awards and everything. Then all of a sudden, it got stagnant. Now I've seen that they started growing again, which I'm so, I love that. I love seeing that.
Right.
But yeah, you have to just move away from what's not working. What's, just either not working, or somebody or whatever is going to bring you more to help you grow and help you grow your business if it's a business. So
Mm-hmm.
definitely wanted to add that. So
So
tell us a little bit about The Skin I'm In, Volume 1, Melanie premiere is coming up.
yeah, it's my first short film, which I'm excited about. I was very inspired by a lot of things over COVID, and still things to this day, social injustice and dealing with a lot of the, police brutality. And on top of that, racism has been at its highest with certain things.
Hmm.
I didn't want to write the normal, African Americans against, Caucasians. I feel like we touched on that so much, and
Hmm.
intensity with that. And with this specific film, I just really wanted to touch on the issue of colorism and racism in our communities, but really bring a positive message. To me, if it's not bringing a positive message, a message of equality and bringing people together, then it doesn't make any sense. And I remember hearing a conversation about this biracial woman who it really was at a place of just, thinking that she's protecting, people she loved and herself by, experiencing so much racism growing up being biracial and feeling that she had to choose between being black or white. And she grew to become so bitter and had these conversations of, I'm not going to talk to the dark skinned girls. I'm just going to talk to these girls. And I was like, that would be just a great film. And those ideas just kept coming. And, this film, The Skin I'm In, Volume 1, Melanie, is really just dealing with this beautiful woman named Melanie who's biracial, struggled growing up being biracial, being bullied and teased. And she's carried that pain and trauma to her adulthood. And she's a mom now and loves her daughter Bailey. She's a wife. And she teaches her daughter how to become a colorist because she feels like that's going to protect her from experiencing the same pain and hatred that she faced growing up. And but she realized she's doing more damage to her daughter than good because her daughter experiences racism in a different way than she imagined. And it's just a beautiful story of self-love, acceptance. And when we don't deal with the pain and trauma, we end up passing that on to our children, and their
Ooh,
children. And
yeah.
it's just really dealing with those generational cycles and curses because, she's, at a place in her life where she hasn't forgiven. And sometimes we think we've forgiven and we've moved on, but we're living that pain right through our children again. And it's just such a beautiful story. So I'm excited about it.
Wow. And now when is that coming out?
So the premiere for that is going to be here. We're going to do a red carpet premiere here on March the 25th at 6 p.m. And at 7 p.m. we're going to premiere the film. And then I'm still kind of searching. Right now, I just want to really tackle this, put it into film festivals before I actually release it on social media platforms. But I'm just really excited about the film because it's just such a beautiful message. And yeah, people are really inspired by just the trailer itself, which is now on YouTube. So.
And where will that air? How will people be able to see that?
So the trailer's on YouTube. When we do put it on the internet platform, I'll be giving more information. I'm looking at possibly Tubi or, one of those other things. But for now, we're just film festivals are kind of funny. So if you want to submit it to film festivals to be in there, you have to not have it on certain platforms so they can premiere it and things like that. So right now we're taking that route, but I'll be updating more people when we actually post it on social media.
Yeah, I'm thinking, it would be great. Like, since it is such a controversial type film, I think it'd be great if you had some kind of an after party, like a Zoom party or something.
Yeah, one of the things I want to do, and we're going to be doing, is a Q&A at the film premiere because I have the girl play Melanie there. She played so great the role, but it just brings about conversation. I think that's what's missing in our world now, having conversations. And the power of storytelling is sometimes it's easy to tell people and try to instill certain types of morals and values and type of beliefs in people and political views, but sometimes just showing people as well through storytelling and helping them to see that different perspective. Some people are just visual and they need to see it and be like, wow, I really need to change because I can see myself in that character. Because so many people laugh and be like, I premiered the trailer yesterday at a event with the children and it was just amazing. It was like, did she say that? But we all know Melanie, someone who can just say what they feel. It could be the most racist thing or the most, ignorant thing we think. But we all have that moment where sometimes what we believe or how we feel about a certain situation can, in so many words, be ignorant, but we just don't see it for ourselves because it's us. So it's just really pulling that mask off and helping us to see a more image of ourselves as well.
Yeah, like I said, that would be awesome to have like some kind of a after party where you can discuss it.
Mm-hmm.
Gosh, you could even do it for everybody listening. If you've never heard of Clubhouse, you could even do like a Clubhouse room to talk about it.
Yeah, you're giving me some ideas. Yeah,
that's just all flowing.
A little premiere party, yes.
Yeah, you could do something like that. Yep.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Have people watch. Of course, they can't watch it on Clubhouse. It's all like audio, but they could watch it and be on Clubhouse and discuss it. You have all kinds of because I feel like it's definitely something that could be educational. You could definitely bring in an educational piece with that.
Right.
So, yeah. I don't know if there's any schools that you're connected to that might be willing to air it and do some kind of an educational thing with it.
Yeah, I got to see because I've been trying to get differently abled into schools. So it's been a challenge in itself, getting up with different people and people sending you to different people. But it'll work out. Once things kind of die down, I can really get back into, the process of that. But yeah, schools have been just so challenging now with COVID and everything. But it can happen.
Because I know when I went back to school in my older years, believe it or not, I was in my 40s. One of the requirements, this was in Massachusetts, they had to teach about racism. It was a requirement. So I remember taking a health class. God bless my health teacher. She was showing this film that was like a little kid film on racism. I'm like, I'm in my 40s. I don't want to watch a little kid film on racism. But it
Yeah,
was a requirement for the
yeah,
school, as far as their curriculum to teach about it. So I'm thinking like you could just use that film for something like that, a health class, whatever it might be. I don't know, but
it
yeah.
could be, but our governor here has made it difficult to even discuss like certain things as
Really?
racism in
Gotcha.
schools, which I find to be kind of ironic because we've been experiencing some things here, but
Mm,
it's been a challenge because I think now he wants to take discussion of racism out of schools, which I think is silly because I think at the height of that it brings so much awareness on both ends in itself. But I think we can, get this thing moving into some schools. So I appreciate those ideas because I'm definitely.
yeah, they're just flowing. I'm just thinking like, where would it be needed and where would it be beneficial? You know what I mean? And
Right.
yeah, it's educational. So schools, like you could do these little after parties. I think it'd be great. I don't know. It's just all coming to me. Sometimes it does.
I love it.
Yeah. Yeah. So, what are some of your other upcoming projects? What else have you got going on?
Well, of course, we talked about the film premiere, the Bolden Awards. Those have been
Yep.
heavily on the plate. I'm looking to do another play. I talked about it earlier. When
Hmm.
Pride Comes Before the Fall, I really just love theater. Um, Everybody's just, depending on me to bring the other play back, looking for love in all the wrong places. But I really just kind of want to switch it up and do something different, show some more range of what I can write and create. And then we have this film is The Skin I'm In, Volume One, Part One, Melanin Melanie. So there's two other parts that come with it because it's a 3-part series. So I'm
Okay.
looking to also film Part Two because we have Melanie's brother, who she ends up realizing that she meets in this film. We go and take a journey on his path to college because now he's in an interracial relationship, and that doesn't really set well with the university kids, as well. So
Mm.
kind of go into that sentiment of that. So I'm ready to film that because it's already written. It's going to be called The Skin I'm In, Volume 2, The Color of Love. So that's going to be
Mm.
getting filmed. And yeah, maybe like another book. I don't know. I do want to continue the series of Differently Able because I want to write like a series of those books. I just been in prayer to see how God wants me to move in that because God doesn't reveal everything in time, but I have a feeling that I'm going to be adding to those editions of that book. So we
Which
have
book? First one?
Differently Able. So I wrote a children's book, Differently Able, that
Oh,
highlights.
yeah. Tell us about that.
Oh yeah, I thought I had already talked about it. Yes, so many things. So yeah, in honor of my brother, during COVID, when everybody was in the house losing their minds, I was actually on my creative journey of creating, and I actually wrote The Skin I'm In during COVID, and then I wrote Differently Able while we were in COVID. And I was like, if y'all keep me in this house long enough, I'm just have a whole library over here of stuff. So yeah, so I wrote in 2020, I wrote Differently Able, and I really just started thinking about my brother a lot and just really having a moment, and I just was going back to like conversations like how he would complain to me about kids that would tease him and how he just wished that he was he could walk. And I was like, wow, I really think that would be good to just write a beautiful story about that,
Mm.
to really highlight children with special needs. So I wrote about these 4 children who are going into middle school. Majesty, she has Down syndrome. She wants to be a model, but she feels like she's not beautiful enough. We have King, who's inspired by my brother. He has muscular dystrophy. He wants to play basketball, but he feels like he's not good enough because he's in a wheelchair. We have Adora, who has dwarfism. She wants to have a little boyfriend, but she feels like she's not, big enough, And then we have finally, we have Adora Majesty Royal, who wants to be a singer, but he stutters when he speaks. And they are all going into middle school, just really want to have peers and friends. It's around Christmas, the season of Christmas, and they're all just trying to make friends, and they find themselves the center and pranks of everyone's jokes and laughter. And because of that, they express their frustrations to their teacher and say, you know what, I'm tired of this. I don't want to be like this anymore. I think what we want for Christmas this year is for Santa to make us normal. Let us see life on the other side. So they take that magical journey and go to the North Pole, where they're met by an elf who sends them on that magical journey of seeing life on the other side of being, disabled and being normal, what they perceive as normal. But they realize that it doesn't bring them true joy and happiness, and that they're different because they make a difference. So that is Differently Able in a nutshell. And I think the book is just beautiful in itself because it highlights and helps people to see the other side, and this from the perspective of the differently able child, because so many of them probably have those thoughts each and every day. If I can just be normal, maybe kids will life will be different.
Yep.
And it's just showing in this book that the grass isn't always green on the other side, and that you are who you are because you truly make a difference. So,
Right.
yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and it's in honor of my brother. His pictures in the book, and it's something that I dedicated in his honor because when I was growing up and I was in school, I really felt like I wanted to have a book that could really help me, something that I could relate to in that situation. Having a brother with special needs, having to have my brother in the same school. Sometimes we would be in the same school, and he would come down the hallway and we would speak to each other, and kids would ask me so many questions. How, why is your brother in a wheelchair? Why is he like that? And having to answer those questions, being in neighborhoods. And I was just like, I wanted that book that could really help me to feel empowered. And how many kids who are differently able are looking for books to make them feel empowered, to make them feel special. And they can't find any because those are not books that have been written. And I want this book to be one of those books they can pick up and be like, wow, after I read this book, I feel like I'm a superhero. I'm special. I have a superpower. So that is the reason behind creating this phenomenal book.
Wow. Yeah, you just brought some memories to me. Like I volunteered once for the Special Olympics, and there was nothing more rewarding than doing that because they were just watching those kids, like that, of course they all get medals, and they just their smile from ear to ear from playing basketball. Some of them are more talented than any normal person I know, including myself. I mean, they're
Right.
amazing. There
Yeah.
was one, he was like, I don't know, he was known for like all his basketball. He had like all kinds of basketball awards. Yeah, he was known like everywhere.
And the beauty of this book has just been, getting into the hands of special needs children.
Mm.
Emily, who's I'm highlighting, I was telling you was going off to college and autism, like her having the book in her hand, and they were taking a flight and on a vacation, and she read the book and she was just like, oh my God, this book is so beautiful. I can relate.
Mm.
It's just so beautiful. And parents of special needs kids like thanking me for writing books like that. That's the beauty of creating something. Because I've always had a passion and a heart for special needs children, because I had a brother who was special needs, and
Right.
a part of his honor and carrying on his honor and legacy is to just be more compassionate and be the voice to the voiceless sometimes of those who are in the special needs community. And I was like, what greater way to honor my brother than to write a book about differently able children and create one of the characters, him. And this is not just going to be a book. I actually wrote it as a film. So eventually I want to make it turn into an animation film. I was like, we got Lion King, we got Beauty and the Beast, we got all these amazing classics like
Yeah.
from Differently Able. That's going to actually be a musical animation film. And then I actually want to make it a Broadway production as well. So.
Oh, nice. And I was getting this vision in my head. You must have seen all the stuff with the AI that's out there, like the Mid Journey and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I could just see like taking like disabled kids and making like beautiful books with beautiful pictures with the disabled kids. I
Yeah.
think that's awesome too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I could see it as something like, a film that can be in a movie theater, because, kids coming out and showing out in the differently able community, and just seeing a movie like that and be like, wow, that's me. I find out
That's
it's me.
superhero. Yeah.
That's the goal for it.
Oh, that's awesome. And it reminds me of a little bit. Remember the cartoon at Christmas time, Land of the Misfit Toys? Remember that?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that was the name of it, but I remember Land of the Misfit Toys because we used to make a joke of that because I worked in a prison for 22 years and it was just, we were all crazy. You had to be crazy to work there. So we called ourselves Land of the Misfit Toys because we wound up working there. But yeah, it just reminded me a little bit about that, like how you just feel like you feel alone, like you're, not like everybody else and all that. And like you said, you're just different. You
Mm-hmm.
have different skills and abilities, especially autism. I was talking to Brian Coletto. He was on my show. I think you might have met him on Clubhouse.
Yeah.
He has autism, and just talking to him, he was brilliant. In just different ways. A lot of people with autism, they're painters, they're musicians, they're artists. Their just brain is just wired different, but there's nothing wrong. It's, you know what I mean? So we're just so like brainwashed about so many different things. There's so many different stigmas about things. And that's why I love Brian, because he wants to change that. He wants to change the stigma.
Unfortunately, we live in a society where what something is not common to people or something that they don't understand, they want to reject it or make fun of it. And it's like, no, just get to know, and I think the beauty of this book is to help people to realize, and parents can sit down with their children and help them see things, in a different light and perspective, that maybe the kid that you're picking on, feels this way, and just to really bring more awareness to bullying, because I just really, despise bullying and, picking on kids that are different from you, because you just never know what they're going through with. So,
Right.
that's why we need creatives and people to, voice, and give a voice to, these different issues. So.
Right. Definitely. Well, you're doing some amazing things. Yeah. And just, and I feel like you should connect with Brian and Kalina, who was on my show. She's hard of hearing. She's in the deaf community. Like, I think all these people, you guys like need to form a network. Definitely. So if you need me to hook you up, let me know. I would be happy to do that.
Sure.
Because I think all of you together would be like a force to be reckoned with. We've all got different connections, talents, all of that. Yeah. So it's needed. People out there need these types of things. Just today, I told you I was on a prayer call earlier, and there was a woman on there, and she was saying, "Oh, she has a child that has special needs. It was a rough morning, so the prayer call really helped her." But we were talking about it, and she needs community. She needs somebody to connect with. So it's another thing, Deonté. I don't know how much you work with parents, but that's also needed. The parent side of it, they need the help. Like how do you connect? Even if you can get a network of parents together to support one another, that's like so needed. Just that in the Lyme disease community.
Right.
Like, it's all about everybody with the illness, but what about the people that are helping the people with the illness? The parent of the kids, the mother, the father, the spouse, all of that. They're going through lots of stuff. I mean, I watched a video. It was heartbreaking. The little boy must have had autism, and he kept hitting his mom. And she's like, "This is a bad day," but she wanted to document it,
Right.
It's not. I can't even imagine. Imagine you can't stop your kid from hitting you. It's because they don't understand. I can't imagine.
Yeah, I think that's beautiful, and I actually thought of a certain award category that I wanted to award in the future, because I was inspired by my mom, who really just took care of my brother and did all she could do. And I was like, it would be great to just have a category that really just highlights special needs parents, let them know, hey, we see you, because
Yeah.
they're superheroes as well, because they have to deal with so much,
Yeah, a lot.
It's beautiful. So
A lot. Yeah. So we've got about 5 minutes left. And yeah, I would love to see, before I say that, even if you did film with highlighting the parents, that'd be a good thing too. So they could see it and say, I'm not alone.
right.
Yeah. But anyway, we have about 5 minutes left. So
Okay.
tell us how people can reach you, how what they can do with you. Like, do you coach people with them or teach classes, whatever you've got going on?
Yeah, so I do have the Bolden Academy, where I have master class, where I have classes
Okay.
and workshops to teach people how to turn their stories into scripts. That's kind of been on. I've been doing more one-on-one now, since I'm actually preparing for an award show, which is taking a lot of my time. But if anybody wants to connect with me for any reason, you can go to my website, www.deonteboldenproductions.com. So that's DEONTE, B as in boy, OL, D as in dog, EN Productions.com. It's links to all my social media. I'm Deonté Bolden Productions on Instagram. I'm Deonté Bolden on Twitter. I'm Deonté Bolden Productions on, I think, TikTok, Facebook, all of those,
Mm-hmm.
connect with me on there. But if you go to my website, there's actually links to all that. You'll also see there's a link where you can go to the Bolden Awards. Bolden Awards has its own landing page, www.theboldenawards.com, so you can stay tuned with that. Purchase your tickets if you would like to come out to the awards show, be a part of this amazing event that's coming May the 20th. And if you go to www.deonteboldenproductions.com, there's also opportunity, if you want to be a part of the film premiere for The Skin I'm In, to purchase tickets as well. But connect with me. I just love supporting people. I love connecting with new people. And I'm just looking forward to seeing, what else God has in store for me.
Yeah, definitely. Now, do you have a YouTube channel too?
Yeah, so it's Deonté Bolden Productions, I think, on YouTube as well, and you can go in there and actually see the trailer. But if you go to my website, it actually takes you to the link,
Yeah.
so you can be able to see the trailer on the Skin I'm In as
Oh,
well.
cool.
Beautiful trailer, yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to check that out.
Yes.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for being here tonight, Deonté. This has been awesome to talk to you and just really get the word out about these different things. Like I said, we've had people on here with autism, and she's hard of hearing and deaf and disabilities, and it's just, like I said, it's so needed. In fact, I'm having another guest on March 6th, I believe. No, wait, April 6th. April 6th, I think it is. She does things helps do events for disabilities and fundraising and things like that. So I'm excited to have her on. So yeah, it just keeps coming back to, because I think it's just needed. It needs to get out there. People need to know that they're not alone, whether they're a person themselves that has some sort of disability that needs to hear it, or a person that's in the community, whatever, your spouse, a parent, even if you're a teacher. Sometimes even teachers have a hard time, you know? So I know when I grew up, I wound up in special education. I talked about this on another show. I'll just leave you at this note. When I grew up, it was like you either up here, you either excelled or you weren't excelling. There was no in between. So they'd stick me in all these hard classes, like you had to read everything. It was all about reading back then. And I'd fail miserably. But if I did other stuff that I was good at, I would excel. So it was like they didn't know what to do with me. So they stuck me in special education. So now it's all different. There's all different levels. It's all changed. But back then, that there was no in between. You either excelled because like I was a memorizer. I memorized everything. So give me basic math, not algebra. I excelled. I did great. But give me reading, forget it. I can't remember everything I read. So it was just, we're all different. We all have different abilities.
And
So
that's what makes us
yeah,
beautiful and unique. I think we should just embrace the difference.
embrace it. Yeah. I totally agree. So thank you again, Deonté. And once again, I just want to remind everybody, first of all, thank you to the replay viewers that are watching. Please share this too. I want to remind everybody to share this, give Elevation TV some love. It's Elevation TV Network on YouTube. If you're on another platform watching, give them some love. I have a YouTube channel. It's under Enrich Your Health. You can go over there. And that's with a U-R, ENRICHUR, HEALTH. And I am looking for people for the show. So if you've overcome an illness, going through an illness, you're a pastor, an apostle, doctor, nurse, spouse, mom, any of that type of stuff, would love to have you on the show. And with that, we will see you next Sunday. So thank you again, Deonté. This was great. Have a good week, everybody.